when we saw that this will nowhere go, I went home. Like I took the plane at the night, and the next day I fly home. And I was lucky because I had 1 hour to come from the Hungary to Slovenia because at 12 o'clock they closed the border, and I was really lucky to come to Slovenia.
What's going on today? I'm the host, SchuZ, Schumaker, and joining me today is 2019 FIBA U18 bronze medalist, a one-time Spanish junior champion MVP, the one-time champion of the ANGT, a projected second-round draft pick in the 2022 NBA draft, and one of the rising stars of Fuenlabrada, Žiga Samar. Appreciate you coming on today, man.
Hello.
Well, Žiga, you're having a breakout season so far this year. Obviously, you've got more minutes. You've been playing at a much higher level. How does it feel for yourself, though, to be able to now be at this place where you're starting to play the way that you are accustomed to, the way that you want to play? How has this year and this kind of breakout season for yourself been?
The breakout season, I think, was for me is doing well, but in the team right now we are fighting for the same in the league, and I think is the primary goal of the team every year. And that we stay in the league because we have one of the lowest budgets in the league, but we're there. We're in the fight of.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get into this breakout season you're having, but I do want people to get to know you because your name is being talked about more and more across the country and across the world now. People are starting to realize you as a player that's not just a good player out there in Europe, but a player that has a chance to play in the NBA, do big things in the game of basketball across the world. So I want people to get to know how you became this player. So if we head all the way back, you originally are from Slovenia. What was it like growing up out there?
Yeah, I'm from Slovenia. I grew up in the small town on the border with Italy and Austria. Whose name is Jesenice. I started playing in the club from Jesenice. Um, I had the I was lucky when because my father was the coach and the former player too, and I think because of this I started to play basketball and started growing up in my town, and then from there I moved to Olympia for play 1 year, and after that I moved to Madrid to playing with Real Madrid for junior 2 years. And after I signed a 4-year deal with Fuenlabrada, what they put me on the low first year to Zamora, where I played the third league in Spain. And after it, this is my second season in Fuenlabrada. What is going okay?
I want to go into how you first picked up the game of basketball. I believe, like you said, your dad played basketball to some extent, but when did you fall in love with the game? When did you first start playing the game of basketball?
Um, I, I think I don't remember the year when I started, how old I was, but my father said that I just started to coming to the practices when he was the coach and started to doing the stuff, and till then I just started playing with the guys. When I was younger, I was playing ice hockey, and tennis too.
I wanted to kind of touch upon that because sometimes guys do play other sports. And like you said, you played ice hockey, I believe tennis as well, also played chess. When did you first start falling in love with the game of basketball? Like when was that the sport you started saying, I really think I can play at a high level of basketball. This is the sport I want to buy into. When did that start happening for you?
I think from the start, I already kind of knew that I will be playing basketball. But at the age of 12 years old, I think was when I stopped playing tennis, because at that age I was playing tennis and basketball at the same time, and just focused on the basketball. I think that was the time when I decided to focus just on one thing and doing just basketball and nothing more else.
I want to go a little bit into the other sports though. Like for starters with ice hockey, how did you first start playing that game and what caused that love for ice hockey back when you were younger?
I'm from the city where is the most popular sport hockey. I think all Americans know Anže Kopitar. He's from my town, and for that reason, I tried to play hockey, and I was too tall. But actually, the reason why I stopped playing hockey was because in the half of the year I was sick 3 times for 14 days. And my father say, you will stop playing hockey and start to play tennis or whatever you want, but hockey you will not play.
And how about tennis? Like that's still a sport I can imagine that maybe in the off season you can still go have some fun playing, but is that still a sport you play at all today?
Yeah, when I come back home to Slovenia, I normally in the summer I play a lot of tennis games, and I really like it because I think it's other sport. Like when you're in the team sport, I think you need some individual sports when you're off season, and when you're um, individual sport player, you need the another like the team sport, and I think it's the best thing to combine when you're off season.
I believe you also have a younger brother. Do you play tennis with him? Do you play tennis with your dad? Was it just by yourself, some friends, or what got you started in playing tennis?
I play tennis with them too, but mostly of the time with my friends.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I played with them mostly of the times. I practice with them too, and and we're more on the same level than with my father and with my brother, where I think it's too much difference between
Mhm.
us.
I also want to touch up on the aspect of basketball in Slovenia because I've noticed talking to a lot of guys out there, guys that have come to America for college and NBA, like overall in Europe, basketball has grown a lot and it continues to grow rapidly throughout year after year. Like there's more and more people loving basketball, but obviously predominantly it's been soccer in the majority of Europe. Then there's different places like hockey or whatever in different cities. But how have you seen the love for basketball grow now because of guys like Luka, because of guys like the Dragic brothers, because of those type of guys? How much has basketball grown in Slovenia in terms of just popularity?
I think I would say that basketball in Slovenia um, is one first or second sport, but I think it's more second sport because of the soccer is in the mostly of the countries in Europe is the first sport. Just in Lithuania is the second one. But I think the biggest jump in Slovenia basketball did when we hosted the 2013 European Basketball Championship, and in these years, the people, the childrens come to young clubs, and it really grow up a lot.
Ever since Luca has become the international figure he's become, how big has that been for you guys out there? Even maybe for yourself, particular, like just as an inspiration, or maybe for the younger kids, it's kind of falling in love, wanting to become someone like Luca. How big has he and even the Goran and Zoran Dragic, like how big have they been just for inspiration, just also kind of getting more and more people to start playing basketball too?
They are like, I think they're the most popular the most popular players in Slovenia of the sport, and because of the European when they were European champions, because of the performance what is doing right now Luka and Dragic in the NBA, and I think the popularity in the Slovenia is still growing up because of them, the basketball. And I knew the Luka from when he was younger. We played one time when in Slovenia, and at that age we already see him a little that he's something special he will become, but nobody think that he will be what he is right now.
Mm. As for yourself, though, like I know that a lot of people you hear the comparisons to. I mean, you are an NBA potential player from Slovenia. You're also a big dog. You're 6'6". You're taller, just like Luca was. I know a lot of people kind of gave you the comparison to an extent. How have you been able to take that in? Because I know that happens often, even for different people in America that come from a certain state or a city that an NBA player is from. It puts that pressure on you in a certain sense. It puts kind of more people talking about you in the comparison aspect. How have you grown accustomed to that? Has it been hard for yourself? Have you embraced almost having that comparison to a degree of Luka, or how have you taken that aspect in?
I think Luka Doncic will be just one, and nobody will be the same. I think it's impossible to be him, because of that much of talent, that much of IQ that he has, that much of physicality, the physical man he is. I think nobody will be ever like him.
Mm.
And I think the comparison between me and him is you can't compare.
Mm.
He's I think five steps like he will never be catch. When they're telling me this, I'm just telling them like I'm Žiga Samar and I'm different kind of player than he is, and I will be Žiga Samar. I will not never be Luka Doncic.
Now, overall, eventually, you guys will probably be teammates in the national team. We saw Luka took them pretty far, obviously, this first year in the Olympics and everything, but the future is bright. There's countless other guys that could be playing for the Olympic team in the next Olympics out in 2024 and 2028 and so on. How good do you think those teams can be when you're eventually able to play in the Olympic team, which obviously you have to imagine there's a pretty good chance you play on the one 2024 and those different things? How good can Slovenia become in the next 2, 3, or 4 Olympics between Luka, between yourself, if the Georgians keep playing and other guys?
I think the last year when we qualified on the Olympics was the something I would say not the bigger than the European champions, but it was something special. First team sport, Slovenian team sports come to the Olympics, and it's really special thing. But I think in the next years we will see. We have a lot of good players in Slovenia, like Prepelic, Dragic, Blažić. There are really a lot of players, and there is not just Luka, and because he's the main guy, but I think without the other players, it will be impossible to achieve what we achieved. But without him, even it's like this. But I think we can do something special in the next Olympic game.
I have to imagine that is a dream for yourself to become a player on that Olympic team, to be a guy that could potentially medal eventually down the road too. How big would that be? And is that something that you think you have a good chance at? Could you see yourself playing on the 2024 Olympic team or 2028 Olympic team?
I debuted with the national team like 1 month ago. And from there, I think I don't know what will happen, but I'm every time I will respond on my national team because I think it's the pleasure to play for them and to represent your country at the end. But we will see.
Now, you haven't got a chance to play in the Olympics yet, but you did get a chance to already win a medal, a bronze medal, a couple of years ago in the U18 games. When you do get to go out there and you play against other countries, but you just get to go out there and represent Slovenia, you get to represent the country that you grew up in, what does that mean to you?
It's a pleasure, like to represent your country, something bigger than playing in the club. I think whole country you're representing, like your nation, like something bigger. Everything what you do, it's kind of represent. It's a big thing. I think it's really hard to explain with the words.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to get back into that in a second, but I do want to go back a little bit. And that was talking about, once again, when you first started playing basketball. And I know your WhatsApp picture is of you sitting on a basketball when you're pretty young. Do you have to take us to that a little bit? When was that? And just was it your dad that was around you when you took that picture? Or how did that picture come into play that's on your WhatsApp?
This picture was took near my hometown, like where was the basketball court and where we had some commercial thing. And when it ends, we stay there, and I was still playing with the ball. And when my father said that I need to go, I start to cry. And this picture was took like because of this, and
Now, you also have a certain aspect about yourself that is what makes you special. And that's what some people have called you the milk worker. You get there, you're typically known for being the first person at the gym, you're the last person to leave. Take us to that mentality. Has that always been a part of you? Like since you pretty much started playing the game of basketball, have you always wanted to just put the extra hours into that, develop over time, or when did that mentality come to you?
I think right now in the sports, in all the sports, it's not just about talent, and it's more about work. Every time work will win the talent, and when you start to knowing this, it's a lot more easier for you that you grow up and um, perform more, putting more energy in working hard, improving yourself. But I think I would say I was lucky when I was younger. I grew up really late, and every time I was smaller than others. I was I didn't have that much muscles on me,
Mhm.
and I think when you're younger and it's happening this, you get another motivation to prove them that they're wrong. But when we get on the same level of biologic, you're better than others because they achieve growth at the one age and I achieve it on the another. And I think that this was the difference.
When was that growth spurt for you? Because we know you today as a big guard. You're 6'6" point guard. There's not too many of those in the world. When was that growth spurt for you? Was it just recently? Was it maybe 18 years old or something like that? Like when did you first start having that big growth spurt for yourself?
I was growing like every year more or less the same until 18 years old. And I think when I was 18, I stopped growing like a little bit. I growed from 18 to 19, but
Mhm.
when I played first time for national team when I was 14, I was like the smallest guy in the on the court.
Now, how big has it been for you? Because you do hear those stories. There's quite a few guys that you hear are smaller for a lot of the career, and that's what makes them a natural point guard. Obviously, being the smallest guy, you have to kind of run point guard growing up. And then you have that growth spurt. And that there's been countless guys like Anthony Davis in the NBA today, guys like Giannis. Like there's a lot of guys that you hear those stories, like they have these big growth spurts all of a sudden later on in life. How big was that for you? Because I have to imagine you were the smallest guy. You probably were naturally the point guard growing up. Adding in the extra height, then you go from being a smaller guy to now being a 6'6" point guard. How big was that for you in your game? Just now knowing that you can be a point guard while still being 6'6".
When you're younger, I wasn't playing on the speed of the that I'm stronger than other guys. I was playing because I could play because of my IQ basketball.
Yep.
And this was I think this is the biggest difference that you can use your performance in the basketball that you show on other guys that you're smarter than them, not because you're stronger and faster. I think this is the most important thing.
At the age of 16 is where you have a unique opportunity because it's much different than America. Obviously, in America, guys go through the high school route, then you go to college or go straight to the NBA, whatever it might be at that aspect. You at the same time, like I know schooling is separate from your basketball life. It's not, they don't really play basketball through the high school or schooling system. So you go out there and move to Spain at the age of 16, away from home. Take us a decision because I can't imagine that was too easy to know that you're moving away from home, going to a new country, a new language at the age of 16. Walk us through that decision, just how you adjusted to that.
Um, the decision for me wasn't hard because at that age I was just thinking about basketball and nothing more else. But when I look back, it was really hard, like because of the language, because of the school, like you mentioned it, because of the friends. But I was lucky because between this, I moved from my hometown to Ljubljana, and I wasn't home. Like um, every weekend, my parents come to visit me, or I went home. It's like 45 minutes from Ljubljana to Jesenice. It's not that much, but I had some in between. But when I moved to Madrid, I didn't saw them like for 3 months. And it was the difference between like I was lucky that I had this in between.
That is something that why I'm someone that's pretty high on overall European basketball and what you guys do, because at that age, it makes some guys that are a lot younger than people in America have to make that decision of really buying into basketball. Because, like we kind of talked about, it's when you choose to play basketball and you want to play it at a professional level someday, rather it be in Europe or playing in the NBA, whatever it is, it takes a much different dedication than it is just for any other person that plays basketball. So you had to truly accept that I'm going all in on basketball. I want this to become my lifestyle. I want to be able to make money off this throughout my rest of my life. What made the decision, and is how were you so confident at 16 knowing that I'm ready to accept this game as a sport that I want to play going forward?
For the sport that I already knew from 12 years old when I stopped playing tennis, but for going all in, I I didn't went all in because I'm still studying on the online to Slovenia. But to go to moving to another country, yes, we can say that I went all in. But when called Madrid and the facilities and all the things what they're giving to you, I think it's easy choice for you because you saw Luka Doncic, you see another guys who are playing right now in ACB teams, that they're really playing basketball on the high level in the Europe and in the NBA.
Now, I'm someone that I do enjoy watching European basketball. Obviously, I study a lot of guys out there that play, but Real Madrid is something that even those that don't watch international basketball consistently, people know that name. It's a big brand. It's an incredible program. What is it like being a part of them? Because, like you said, there's some big time names that have come to America to play, that have become big time stars in Europe that grew up in the junior system, the guys that developed out there with Real Madrid. What makes them so special, and how do they develop so many talents? How do they help you become the player that you are today? How do they help guys like Luka and everyone else? Like, what is it like just being a part of Real Madrid in the junior program?
I think you have everything there. What you need to think about is just making the school and playing basketball, nothing more else. Everything else they will give you or they will do it for you. And it's that part is really easy, like to develop. But you need to be like focused, focus on this, and this is the most important thing. Your focus and that, but they're doing consistently like with the players, with the big guys, with the small guys, and with the guards. Everyone working on the individual skills. We play games against grown men too, and it's just a system. They make a really, really good system.
Now, off the court for yourself, I have heard from a lot of people, and now just talking to you too, it's kind of evident as well that you are a smart guy. You also love academics at the same time. I know you've also pursued sports management degree too, as well at the university out there. Walk us through yourself off the court. Like, why have you put so much effort into still learning other languages, becoming a smart person off the court as well? Like, what's driven you to want to still prioritize and still put a lot of effort into the university and into your academics?
I think you need to you don't if you stop studying, if you stop doing the stuff off the court, on the court will be like the same. You will be relaxed too much, and I think you need to learn through the life. I don't know who said, but you're learning from the start to the death, the things, and this is the most important thing. You need to thinking all the time and doing the stuff, just learning, learning, learning.
How do you balance that though? Because playing at a professional level throughout the junior programs, then playing as a professional now in the past few years, that's constant traveling, that's constant going around, practices consistently. How have you balanced basketball and academics at the same time?
Um, the academic, I had a little bit, I was lucky because they get, they did with me the compromise that when I had time, I can do like the exams, the stuff, what I need to do. But because of that, I did all the exams and the school, the secondary school, and right now I'm doing the university.
Well, let's get into that very first year out there for yourself at Real Madrid. you go out there and you're around some guys that are pretty well known now across the world. Usman Garuba now is obviously in the NBA. He was in the program at that point. Mario's out there. Mateo's out there. Boris. A lot of guys that have become notable names in the NBA and Europe now. What was it like being with them? Like, I don't believe you ended up playing with them that year. You're just in the junior program, but just seeing them, being around them to a certain extent, how big was that for you in your career?
It was really good group of guys when we played together, and I think from all of them I learned the things, and also they like there are a lot of guys, and like I said before, on the Madrid program, we're learning from each another the things, and this is the most important thing. We're giving our better things to them, and they're giving to us. It was special to playing with them.
Going through a couple of those guys, which one of them would you say helped you out the most? Did one of those guys come and kind of take you underneath their wing, help you and mentor you? Was another guy I didn't list? Like, was there anyone in that program that really just kind of mentored you or helped you out throughout the 2 years that you're out there?
I think Usman, with his mentality, helped me a lot. And because he's really streaky guy, he's really working hard. He's really good guy. And I learned, not learn, but I get some habits from him too.
Throughout those 2 years you played out there, what were those 2 years like? Just take us through the ups and downs and just how big were they for your career playing out there those 2 years?
I think was one of the most important years in the basketball until now, because there I really get my body shape on the really high level. We're really working a lot on this, and on I think on the basketball thing, I get more observe everything what is going on in basketball. Start running the plays, start reading something more, and I think it was really nice 2 years in the Madrid.
In 2018, you win the Spanish Junior Championship. Take us to that. What was that like?
Um, it was this is the Spanish championship. It's like in 7 days you have 7 games,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really hard schedule. But we were one of the favorites. But at the end, you never know. Maybe some bad day comes and you lose some game and you're out. Like because if you lose one game after the group stage, you're out, and it's really hard to get it. Um, but at the end, we played against Barcelona in the final, and we won. It was good experience because at the end we all achieved it together, and because of this.
Now, at that point in time, if you go back 3 years ago, so when you were 17 or 18 years old, what were your goals at that point in time? Like, did you think that you were going to become a guy that could potentially play in the NBA back then? 3 years ago, like, did you think that was something that you wanted to do or you thought you could achieve? Do you think you could become a guy that was playing as good as you are this year? Or where were your goals 3 years ago? And what did you think you could achieve 3 years ago?
Uh, until when I was younger, I all I every time had the goals that I want to play in EuroLeague. Like this was my main goal. But if I get opportunity to play in NBA, I will take it for sure. But at that age, I was focusing on my next step. What is like the first year I play just junior league. The next year, the second year in Madrid, I played fourth league in the Spain, and it was like to achieve this level. It was my goal, and every year to achieve another level. I think you need to have uh, goals on the short term, medium term, on the and the large term, and I think this is the most important thing.
No, that's a huge thing. And that's something that you do see those guys that become successful have that. And that is huge. Like to have, like you said, the short term goals that ultimately lead up to the big time long term goals. Was that something that was established by a coach or your dad or somebody? Was that just self established by yourself or who gave you that mindset?
I think my father you helped me a lot with it,
Hmm.
and because he was playing and he know how is it. He went through it, and he was really helping me to coming here where I am right now.
Another thing that occurred in 2018, you guys become the champions of the Adidas Next Generation Tournament. What was that like?
It was something special. The previous year, we lost in the group stage against Lietuvos Rytas, and it was really bad day, bad game for us. We really want to show the Europe that we're the best in the Europe, and we showed them, and it was really something special. Dreams coming true, I can say. Like
Mm-hmm.
winning EuroLeague. I can say that I have half of the title of the EuroLeague.
At that point in time, though, you are 18 years old, which in Europe, that means obviously you can no longer be part of the junior program. That's time to officially become a professional now. You decide to go make your transition then. You make the next move. You go from Real Madrid B team, obviously. Then you go sign your 4-year deal with Fuenlabrada. Walk us through that opportunity. How did that come? Why was that the program you decided to go to? Just take us through what all occurred back then when you signed that deal.
I knew when after my second year in the Madrid, I knew that they will not give me opportunity for play for the first team, and I think if they will give me opportunity, reality, I will not have the minutes for showing them that I'm really ready for the senior ACB EuroLeague team.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason, I choose Fuenlabrada, and they put me on the loan on the third league. Third league. Fuenlabrada is the team who is playing in the first league for I think 20 years consistently, something like this. And but they're every year fighting for staying in the league, and I think they're giving the opportunity for the young guys too, and I think it was the best place for me to going. But I still knew that I need to do some step between the fourth league and the first league because it's too much difference between them. For that reason, I signed contract with the Zamora,
Mm-hmm.
and I went for the third. I went into the third league, and I had one really good year. I had really good group of guys, really good coach. I really like it there. And when Corona starts, they called me back, but this didn't happen because after this Corona side, I just did 2 practices when I came back, and after that, I needed to go home.
Now, I want to go through your mindset when that occurred because I have to imagine that at the time you probably were like, okay, I want to play with the main team. I want to just go out there and I want to play. You probably at the time too said, okay, I think I'm talented enough to play there. But obviously, going down developing for one more year before you get to go up there and play with the main team, were you okay with that at the time? Was it hard for you? Were you kind of just saying, okay, it is what it is, or how did you take in that you had to go spend a kind of a year developing at a lower team?
I think the for me is the biggest thing that I'm happy. But when I'm happy when I'm playing basketball. I like the minutes and at that time and to develop my skills. And when I went to the third league, it was with this mindset. I need to be one of. I need to play the minutes. I need to show them that I'm ready for the next step. And this year I showed them, and they called me back.
No, I do think that's a huge thing for so many players. Like, there's your generational talents, guys that are just going to go to the NBA when they're 18 years old or something from Europe, or guys that are one and done talents at the college American level. But spending a year that you develop in America might be going to college and redshirting for a year, or might be going out there, obviously, and going to a lower group to go develop for a year. How important was that for you becoming the player that you are today to spend that year playing the game of basketball consistently, getting a lot of minutes, playing at a high level? How big was that for your development, helping you become the player that you are today?
I think was really important because in Madrid I wasn't really the main guy. I was like I was with Usman, with Amar, with Mario, with Karim, with Boris, and it's not the same thing when you're one of the 2 or 3 main guys. When what I was in Zamora, and I really feel we're really well. And I think I needed some year of this experience and this breathing of something more, and it was really good for me because of that aspect. I get confident. I get confidence in that I can be leader of the team. Leadership I get too, and it's really important. It's really important right now too for my career.
Let's say right when you signed that contract, you were able to go play with the main team right away. Do you think that you would be the same player that you are today? Would you be as good of a player if you just want to play with the main team right away, or did that extra year of developing, playing at Zamora, help you become the player that you are today?
Actually, I did the preseason with Fuenlabrada,
Mm-hmm.
but I when I signed with Fuenlabrada, I signed with Zamora too, and
Mm-hmm.
they like I had no choice for going out of the team of Zamora because Fuenlabrada after the two weeks of the preseason they want to stay that I stay and play with them,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't sure about it at all because I wasn't practicing a lot on the practices. I didn't. It wasn't that thing that I think this year I was needed, and I don't know really if I would be the same player. Maybe I would be better, maybe the worst. But I think the most important thing is that I came to right now where I am, and I'm a good performance. What I am right now is the most important thing, and I believed in it. Then what I did, I believed in it.
I also wanted to ask you, and I know there's quite a few players from Europe that obviously come out to America and go to college and play a college career then. Was that ever something that you considered? Was that even an option for you? Did you ever talk to any colleges or where were you on potentially ever coming to America to play at a university someday?
I I was thinking about it, but not really a lot because when I went to Madrid, I think it was this year's when I need to go to college, and I think Madrid is the best thing in the Europe, we can say. And I didn't after that I didn't think about it.
Were there any colleges that ever talked to you? Did you ever have any communication with any colleges ever?
No, I didn't have no non conversation.
Well, let's head into then your first year playing with Fuenlabrada throughout the entire season then. And that was last year. And obviously, it was an up and down year for yourself. You're playing with the main team. There are obviously some highs for yourself. Probably didn't get as many minutes as you wanted. But what was your first year out there like?
I think when you come to first Spanish league and professionalism is really hard. That the coaches believe to you and give you opportunity to play on the highest level in the Europe. And because here's every time you lose or you win two games, you lose three games in a row, and maybe coach is out. And this is the biggest fear of them, and I understand them because I was young and I don't have consistency, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I was just working to achieve the goal that maybe the next season, maybe next game, I would show them that I can play, and just being patient, and when the opportunity comes that I take it with both hands and showing them that I can play.
Obviously, last season, I can't imagine it was too easy. I'm not sure exactly how COVID looked like for you guys out there, but obviously 2 years ago at that point when you're playing with Zamora, COVID came into effect. And then last year, I know it still was around, and I'm not sure if you guys had fans or not, whatever it looked like, but take us through this, the way you dealt with COVID over the pandemic when you guys were on lockdown, then obviously playing and having to wear masks all the time, and just all the effects you guys might have had because of COVID. How did that impact the game of basketball out there, and just how did it impact you specifically?
Um, when COVID started, I was in Zamora,
Mhm.
but I was talking with Fuenlabrada to come to Fuenlabrada, and we had the game on Sunday, and on the Monday, I talked with Fuenlabrada to come to Fuenlabrada, and we were off. And on Tuesday, I went to Fuenlabrada, and we had a practice on the Tuesday. And in the on the this practice, we practice normally, and the next day when we come to the gym, they say that we will not play the game on the Saturday, what we play against Madrid. And it was that kind that you don't know what will happen, and you want to stay. They say that we need to stay in Madrid to don't go home. Maybe we'll in the 2 weeks will the league going on, and we stayed home 2 days. And when we saw that this will nowhere go, I went home. Like I took the plane at the night, and the next day I fly home. And I was lucky because I had 1 hour to come from the Hungary to Slovenia, because at the at 12 o'clock they closed the border, and I was really lucky to come to Slovenia. And when I was home, I was lucky because in Slovenia we can went out, we can do this the stuff outside. It wasn't that tricky than in Spain or other countries. I had the gym. Uh, I had the keys of the gym, and I went. I was lucky to have this opportunity to go to the gym, to the basketball court, to having the ball in the hands. And at that time, I was really practicing a lot for preparing for the next year, for starting the new season with the first team. But the game of basketball, I think in fact that, yeah, maybe because of the injuries of the young players, or maybe of other players, because between the quarantine, you don't do nothing. You can go outside for the walk. You can. It's not the same. Never it happens. Like being 1 month home, it's you get totally out of rhythm. Even in the summer, when you get 1 month, you're not home like for 1 month. You're going out, you do the other sports, you do the stuff. It's not the same. And I think in that way, I'm infected too. But I was lucky that I had a gym, and sometimes we played the pickup games with other Slovenian players too.
Now, I need you to kind of go to the other thing you're talking about for a second there, because you were saying that I know a lot of countries in Europe, especially, they close their borders. So you were getting in there and you said that you had about an hour left. So what was going through your mind? Because I have to imagine that if you were stuck in Spain or something, that was about a year process. So that probably was not going to be something you wanted because of how strict it was and also being away from family. What was going through your mind as you were just getting close to possibly making it across the border, possibly not making? Like, what was going through your mind at that point in time?
I think at that time I didn't know what will happen, because nobody knows that COVID will infect that much at that time. I think nothing, just to come as soon as possible to Slovenia, and that's it. But I fly from Madrid to Hungary to Budapest, and there was waiting me my parents, and picking up me with their car and going home. And I have like from the Budapest to Slovenia, it's like 1 hour and a half, something like this. And I was on the airport like at 9, something like this, and it was close.
So what do you think would have happened? I mean, was there probably no chance of you guys getting into Slovenia then after the borders closed? Or do you guys think you guys would have just been stuck out there in Hungary? Or how do you think that could have possibly worked out for you
I
guys?
don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't think about it. But right now, when I think about it, it's I think we will stay there, but for maybe 1 or 2 days. And after this, when we'll get tested and negative, we'll go home.
Absolutely. Well, I want to then go into last season, the end of it, because obviously that season starts coming to conclusion then. Then there's a coaching change. You guys obviously have a new coach come into play. How big was that for you? Because obviously we see the way it's worked for yourself now as a player and your numbers this year. How big was that coaching change, and was that okay with you? Like, did you like the coaching change, or just what was your thoughts on everything that happened in the off season for you?
I think you a lot of players doing that where you play, with which coach you play is good coach, and which coach you don't play is bad coach. But I think it's not like this. Every coach has their things, and it's normally we're different, and I understand this. But yeah, I was happy to play, and I want to show them that I can play, and he was helping me a lot. And we were working between the season a lot individually, and maybe because of these two.
Now, there was quite a few things that happened in that season as well for yourself. One of them, too, is that I believe you also had surgery on your hand, too. Take us through that a little bit. Like, what happened? How did the injury occur? And just what was that rehab process like?
In the summer, when I was practicing with the national team under 20, we were practicing like normal practice, and I went to the rebound, and some teammate with the elbow hit me on the hand. And I didn't feel at the start nothing, but after this, they showed that the bone was broken and moved. And for that reason, I will need to get surgery. And when I saw that I will start, that I will be able to start the season, I was a little bit more calm. That this happened at the start of the summer, and not at the end, because maybe if it will happen on the end, they will sign another point guard, or they will take my place, but they didn't did. I started rehabilitation in Slovenia, and I started playing basketball like 2 weeks before the starting of the season, and I had the time to prepare for it. Physically, I was prepared, but just a feeling of the basketball, it was the most important thing at the time.
Then following that season, you decided to go declare for the NBA draft. Obviously, you decided to come back, then pull your name out of it eventually. But what went into that decision? Just how much did that help you? How much did you learn from being a part of that system, talking to the GMs? Just take us through the NBA draft process and why you originally decided to go and declare for the draft last season.
We talked with the agent at that time, and we decided to go to the draft, like to put my name on the draft, but to take it out. I didn't talk with no GMs, and it was just, I think, for the presentation of me. I don't know. We're talking about this.
Now, after that happens, then you head into the season, and obviously you didn't have the season you're having yet before. So, what were your expectations like before the season got started for yourself? What did you want to accomplish? What goals did you have? Did you want to say, okay, by the end of this year, I want to potentially try going to the NBA? I want to make a big jump up, or what were your goals for the season when you headed into this year?
When I started the season, I had a goal of the team. I think was the primary goal that we stay in the league, achieve as soon as possible 12 wins. What is what it's mentioned that you stay in the league, and after that to do the best what I can do. And I want to just help the team and see what I can do. Like, I didn't think about other things. Other things, I think, come alone. I think you need, like I mentioned before, you need to go step by step.
Mm-hmm. Now, this has been a huge year for yourself. Did you expect to have this good of a season heading into it, or where were you expecting your season to be like when you walked into the season for the first game?
I really didn't expect this, how will be the season. I was just going from the game to the game, and that was it. I had the back problems too at the start of the season. Like, I played one game, and after that I had back problems, and I was out like 3 weeks for 3 weeks.
So, what do you think caused this change? Was it just the coaching change? Was it you just became and put a lot more work in during the off season, or what led to this breakout season for yourself?
I think all the things. One thing never happens just because of one thing. Happens of the more things. This, I think, because of the hard work of the past season, because of the work in Madrid too, of the coach, of the maybe of the GM, maybe of the president, maybe of the another place where my teammates, they helped me too a lot. Um, my parents, my family, all of them helped me to achieve the position where I am right now.
Now, for those that do not know, you are one of the younger players playing as much as you do. And right now, you're already playing as one of the best point guards in the league. But you're only 21 years old, and you just turned 21 too, just about a month and a half ago. That's not easy. Like, there's not many guys that are early on in the 20s or teens that can produce at the way that you're producing. So, how have you been able to do that? And also at the same time, has it been difficult? Has it been harder going up against guys that are much, much older than you, having to go up against them and play them game in and game out?
I think the hardest thing was to show other guys from my teammates that I'm prepared and I can play on this level. And this was the biggest problem at the start. But when you get to this confidence and you get their confidence, coach confidence, is everything easier.
I also want to break down your passing abilities because I'm somebody that has always been a big believer in passing. That I know some people nationally and media wise don't always value passing as much as they used to, maybe a decade ago, 10, 20 years ago, whatever. But those that can pass at a high level can still play the NBA. We see guys like Rajon Rondo go out and still have a long NBA career, even though he isn't able to shoot the best. And you also developed your shooting as well. But as for that passing aspect, how have you become such an elite passer? Like, what has it been? What drills have you worked on? Is it maybe even a natural talent, or how have you become such a great passer?
I think through like I mentioned you before, when I was younger, I couldn't do like I couldn't get to the basket. I needed to get another things to play basketball. And I was passing when I was younger too. And it was like maybe some talents, maybe watching the games, basketball games, and understanding the game and playing the game. I think you need to play, enjoying to the game. I think this is the most important thing. And I every time say that assist make two players happy, not just one player.
Well, you also, like I said, have also at the same time developed your shooting ability. And that's really what's helped change your season even more. I know at the beginning of the year, people knew you as a passer, but about that midway point, I believe it was like 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, whatever it was, you started shooting the ball a lot more too. And that's helped expand your game, grow your brand even more now. What's led to that outbreak in terms of shooting the ball? How have you been able to expand your game mid-season and really incorporate that into who you are as a player now?
In the summer, before the national team, after the season, I was 14 days working just on the shooting abilities. And I think this helped me. But at the same, I can say that after this, I had surgery on my right hand, shooting hand, and it helped me for sure because I changed some details in my shot, but I couldn't do it at the start directly on the start of the season because I need to get some time for getting it normally, that I feel normally with my hand. But right now I feel confident, and this is the most important thing. And it's easier to when you having confidence with your players, with your coaches. It's easier to make the shots than if you are not if you don't have confidence.
Are there players that you've loved watching growing up and maybe even base your game around? Are there guys in the NBA or in Europe? Like, who are some guys, and maybe even one guy specifically, that you love watching and you've taken pieces from and brought them into your game?
I think you need to watch. You don't need just to watch one guy. You need to watch more guys, and from every guy, you need to take the best thing. I watched Luka a lot. I watched Šarūnas Jasikevičius a lot. I watched Diamantidis. Right now, I'm watching Chacho Rodriguez, Ortel, Micic, a lot of these guys who are playing on the top of European level and NBA level. And what I'm more or less not the same, but where I can take on my positions normally.
Now you have still a season ahead of yourself. You're still about midway point. What do you want to accomplish? Like, what would you say would be a successful ending to this year? What is everything you want to accomplish personally as a team? Like, what do you want to get done throughout the remainder of the season that was so that you could walk away saying, this was a successful season for myself?
I think we need to achieve as soon as possible that we are staying in the league. I think we have right now in front of us really important games, and this is the main goal of the season as a team, that we stay in the league. And this is like my personal goal, I would say, right now.
Now, as we kind of touched up on a little bit ago, and that is the NBA aspect for yourself, and you are somebody that's well on many NBA teams, mock drafts, and boards because of your talent, what you're able to bring. So, for yourself personally, though, are there certain things that you want to grow on, or when do you feel like you'd be ready to possibly declare for the draft? I know you're projecting a mock draft in this year's draft. Obviously, the following year could work too, whatever's up to you. But are there certain things about your game that you want to improve on for when you say, okay, I know I'm ready to make that jump to the NBA?
Still, I didn't think about it because right now we're in the season, but with the manager, with the agent, I talk. We talk a little bit about it. That maybe we'll put my name this year and maybe going to tryouts to the NBA, to the America, and we will see after the season. We say that I need just to focus on the next game, and that's it.
When that day does come in, you get to go to another country and possibly play a game of basketball. Obviously, that's a huge thing, but we talked about earlier too that the ability to represent your country and where you play from and play for. And obviously, it's not necessarily the same as the Olympics or whatever, but you get to go to a country and people are going to know where you're from. You get to represent Slovenia out there. What would that mean to you to be able to go and become another player that makes the NBA from Slovenia? Like, is there some kind of meaning behind that? And if so, like, what does that mean to you to potentially achieve that ultimate achievement for yourself?
It is, I think, is the big things. I think big thing if I will achieve it. Of course, I want to achieve it. I would really like it, but like I say, I need to go step by step, see what is the next thing, and if the everything will be okay, maybe some days I will be.
Now, the last thing I want to go into about the NBA aspect is, let's say you, for some reason, happen to get teamed up with Luka or Goran Dragic or something. What would that be like being able to play with them, or even possibly playing against them on another team? What would that be like?
It will be something amazing for sure. Playing against your idols when you were younger, what you're watching them. Right now, when I was playing with Zoran Dragic, with Jaka Blažić, they were my idols when I was younger, and I was looking them, and it was something special. You had some respect for them and for other players, what you play right now against them, and it will be the special thing for sure.
Who would you say, if you could pick any player in the world that you could go play against in the NBA, in Europe, wherever it is, who would be your favorite person to go play against? If you could pick one guy you wanted to go play in a game against right now, who would it be?
It's hard. Maybe on the game, maybe Luke. For sure. I think for sure against Luke.
And also at the same time, like I said, you are a special player. You have a bright future ahead of yourself. But whenever that day does come, you decide to go to the NBA or even play in the EuroLeague, whatever it is, what could you tell a GM if they asked you, what are you going to bring to our team? How would you answer? Like, what would you bring to an NBA franchise or a high level European league? Like, what would you say? How would you answer that? And what would you be bringing to that team?
I will give every practice, every game my 100% and help win the team. And I think this is my main things, my main strengths, that I want to help the team that win. And I think I'm the winner.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One of those things is that I know a lot of guys want to be remembered for something. So when that day does come a long time down the road and you decide to walk away from the game of basketball, you decide to move on from the game, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court?
On the court, being the best of me, like possible. I think this need to be the every person goal that he need to achieve the best of him. And I would love to win EuroLeague, what was my goal from the when I was young.
Mhm.
And other things we'll see. Like I will to to be a good person and to help my team every time to win the best for my team.
Absolutely, man. Well, my final thing for you, if you could pick 3 goals that you want to accomplish throughout your career, whether that be going to the NBA, winning a championship there, EuroLeague, going out and winning an Olympic gold medal, whatever it is, possibly, if you could pick your 3 biggest goals that you have set for your basketball career, what are those for yourself?
When I was like right now, we can say playing in EuroLeague, getting medal with Slovenian national team on the World Championship or Eurobasket or Olympics,
Mhm.
and let's say being the champion of EuroLeague right now. Like this was my 3 main when I was.
Absolutely, man. Well, Žiga, best of luck with the remaining of the season. I'm excited to see what you're able to accomplish throughout the remainder of it. Keep doing your thing. I hope I can see you out here in America someday playing the NBA, living out your dream, man. And I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
Thanks for having me in your channel, and thank you for everything. Really.
Of course, man. You're always welcome on. Anytime you want to come on, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
Okay. Thanks. See you.